The Stone of Jordan is one of the most important items in Diablo II. It is considered best in slot for many caster builds. You also need it to get the Annihilus charm. You sell the Stone of Jordan to a vendor on Hell difficulty that causes Diablo Clone to spawn. After you kill Diablo Clone, you get the Annihilus small charm. Nightmare difficulty Andariel is widely considered the best way to consistently get the Stone of Jordan. Like most items in Diablo 2, if the conditions are right, the Stone of Jordan can drop at any time. However, for the most consistent results, Nightmare Andariel is where we're going to go. Today on the War Club, I'm going to do Nightmare Andariel for 10 hours. I'm going to show you what we get. I'm going to show you some other good items you can get from Nightmare Andariel, but most important is how to do this efficiently. The first choice you have to make is what character to do this on. I decided to go ahead and level up a Sorceress all the way to level 90, a brand new character. Make it a Fire Sorceress since Andariel is naturally weak to fire. The Sorceress also allows you to stack a ton of Magic Find and still maintain high damage. This Sorceress's fireball damage is going to be enough to where she will die before a meteor could even hit. Opening up the stats page, you can see she's at 606 Magic Find. Some people will stack 1,000 or more Magic Find, but I believe you start to suffer in terms of your kill speed. Okay, let's check out some of the gear that I put on this character. I am using a Harlequin Quest, or the Shaco, with an Ist room, granting a massive 75% Magic Find. Of course, we got the Oculus, also Isted. I simply do not have a good Magic Find amulet, so I went with one of the best amulets I have, a perfect Mara's Kaleidoscope for the +2 skills, and a little bit of all-res. Using the Spirit Shield just for the +2 skills and the FCR, you want to maintain a pretty good FCR. I don't believe I am hitting the 105 breakpoint. Offhands don't matter too much. We're not using a Call to Arms buff since it's only Nightmare difficulty. The amount of time it takes to do that buff would significantly slow down the runs that we're doing. Enigma here just for the Magic Find. It is possible to use a combination of Talrashas, the 3-piece set from Talrashas, to get some faster cast rate and more FCR. I did some comparisons here and decided to stick with what I was doing. For the belt, I'm using Gold Wrap. That is one of the items you can get from Nightmare Andariel, so I'm going to show you the best example of a Gold Wrap that I got from her. And for the boots, War Travelers, 48% chance of Magic Finds, the best copy of War Travelers that I have. For the gloves, I'm using Chance Guard, and both of my rings are perfect Nagelrings at 30% each. Yeah, there they are. Oh, and real fast, yes, 40% Chance Guards. Okay, looking at the inventory, we're using Geet's Fortune. I have an almost perfect one with 40% Magic Find. I'm using a Sunder Charm here, not because we need it to break fire immunes, but we do have 24% Magic Find on it, and that is better than what we can do with small charms. We have our Torch, we have our Annihilus, we have 7% MF Charms, filling the rest of the inventory, leaving a tiny bit of space. I could have put the Roderick Cube in here and used that instead, but this is actually all of the Magic Farm charms that I have, so I just left some inventory space free. All right, here we are at the start of our runs. Let's go ahead and start that counter. If you've seen some of my videos before, you know how this timer works. The big number on the left is the overall time. We're going to spend 10 hours farming Nightmare Andariel. The number 0 is the number of runs that we're going to get in. We're going to try to get these runs as fast as we can. That's the goal here. If you're playing online, you don't have the ability to pick your maps, but if you're playing offline, you can reset the maps by changing the difficulty and going back to Nightmare. You reset that map over and over again until you get a Catacombs map that allows you to get to Andariel in just a few teleports. I think I was able to get to the Catacombs level 4 in 4 total teleports. That is about as good as it can get. There probably are a few other better maps out there, but this is what I got, and I'm going to get some really low average run times. As you can see, we're already in the 3rd run here. The average is only at 21 seconds. We're going to try to get this much lower, and I'm going to talk a little bit later about another improvement that's going to let you get that average even lower. Before we do that, let's jump ahead a little bit. Run number 119. Going to show you the first useful drop that we got. The drops that I'm going to show you are broadly useful to a bunch of different builds and classes. You may have some drops that are specifically good for you, so look at one of the drop tables to see what she gets. But the first drop that we got that I considered notable was the Demon Hide Sash. That is the String of Ears. We're going to show you the first example of each item that I got, and then at the end of the video I'm going to show you the best examples. I'm going to get many strings of ears, I'm going to get many copies of the other items as we do this, but I'm going to show you the best examples. And the first one here is String of Ears, and 10% physical damage reduction is not very good, so hopefully we get a better one of that. As we watch some of these other drops, let's talk about why. Why is Nightmare Andariel the best place to get the Stone of Jordan? And the reason for that is, those are a couple of good drops, like gauntlets and the quarterstaff. So I only check the quarterstaff to see if it's ethereal. An ethereal ribcracker is something you would probably save. Like gauntlets is, of course, Mage Fist, very useful. But let's get back to that question. Why Nightmare Andariel? So Nightmare Andariel has a small drop table for rings. In fact, she can only drop 3 unique rings. Those are the Stone of Jordan, of course, the Nagelring, and the Manald Heal ring. Because she can only drop those 3 rings, the chances of getting a Stone of Jordan are 1 in 31 for every unique ring that you find. That is because their commonality or their rarity is weighted. So at the end of this video, when we get to the 10 hours, I'll show you how many unique rings I got. I'm not identifying any of them. I'm just stacking them in my inventory. As you can see, as we go through these drops, I'm just kind of piling them up in my inventory. At the end, we're going to identify them all and see what we got. I've picked up a few Mage Fist gloves already. This is the first example of the Razor Tail. The Razor Tail is very useful for the Javazon because of its piercing attack. Helps you get to the really high chances to pierce, so I'll show you the best example I got of that at the end. You can see the unique rings are starting to pile up in the inventory. I was also keeping the jewels to do some crafting later. Here is our first example of Tal Rasha's belt. Again, we've said this is an alternative you can use to farm Andariel, but Tal Rasha's belt is a good drop. Okay, here we are at 2 hours and 46 minutes in. My average is 21.4 seconds per run. Now I'm going to tell you the secret to drop that by even 2 or 3 seconds faster per run. And that's actually going to make a big difference if you can shave just a couple of seconds off of each run. You're going to do this a lot faster. And that is setting up your loot filter to specifically only show you those items that you're interested in getting. Looking at all the loot that Andariel drops and having to process what might be good and what might be bad, can you remember? Is it the chance guards? Is that chain gloves? Is it heavy gloves? Is it, the belt? Is it heavy belt? Trying to decide what is good and what is not worth keeping is going to take you a ton of time and really kill your average. I got some 31% chances here. That's not very good. You see my perfect 40s that I'm wearing. But I have set up a loot filter that will specifically pick and show you all the items that I'm getting here today. Of course, it does not hide unique rings. I'm going to share that loot filter in the comments for this post. Maybe I'll do a full blog post about that. Of course, we show runes. We're going to pick up all the runes that we get here. I'll give you that loot filter. That could really help you in your runs. So if you're interested in that, you can import that into your game and use it. Okay, here we are. We got the first example of the heavy belt. That is the gold wrap. I am using the gold wrap here. Really, the only thing that rolls on it is the gold find portion of it. So you're kind of looking just to get the best gold find. But honestly, it's not very important. Boy, peek at that really quick. 68%. That's decent. I don't know. What do I have? You see what I have? Oh, I have 71. Okay, whoop-de-doo. All right, now here is a real shocker. As I was getting ready to make this video, I found probably 4 of these serpent skin armors. And then I went 742 runs and did not find a single one. So that was very surprising. I seriously have 3 or 4 of them in my inventory just doing the prep work for this video. And this is the first time I got this. This is probably one of the best items that you can get, and she does drop it, and that is the Skin of the Viper Magi. Super useful. Let's just take a peek right here and see if it's a good one. No, it's not a good one. 2412. Anyway, at the end of the video, we'll show you if we got a better one of those. I did find many, many more. All right, here's a fun one for you. Andariel can and sometimes does drop more than one unique ring. Was one of those the Stone of Jordan? I don't know. We're going to identify Zien. You could get super lucky. She could drop 6 unique rings. I'm sure it's happened for somebody, because if it can happen, it will happen. Anyway, that's kind of a fun one. 2 rings. Oh, they're really starting to pile up. They almost have 30 unique rings after 4 hours. Okay, we found some shark skin boots here. Those are water walks. A utility item, not used a ton, but they do have the increase to maximum fire resist. They can come with a lot of life. You can upgrade them to get more defense if that is something that floats your boat. Let's look at these real quick. Enhanced defense. I don't know what these. Oh, you're looking for the life. You'd like to get close to the perfect 65 there. Okay, here we are. We're getting close to the end. 9 hours, 14 minutes. You see that average has come way down. I've tuned my loop filter. I'm at 19.6 seconds. That's over 180 runs per hour. Going to give you a really good chance to get that Stone of Jordan quickly. And Andariel can drop this item. Again, this is one of the best items. I was getting towards the end. It's very rare. I didn't think I was going to get it, but I did. She can drop Talrash's Amulet. I do not recommend farming Andariel for Talrash's Amulet. I think that the drop rate on that is 1 every 3,000-ish runs, depending on Magic Find and other factors. So not a good way to get that. It's pretty hard to get in general. But we did get lucky and finally got one. And here's another drop. Again, very rare to get from Andariel. You would prefer the ethereal version of this. Classic Diablo 2 item, Shaft Stop. This one's not ethereal, but this does have some use for the mercenary. Again, the rolls on this aren't too important. You would prefer that it is ethereal. Let's take a look at the last run. 1827. That counter will up once we complete run 1827 in 10 hours. The final average ended up being 19.7, over 180 runs per hour. My best run was 15.0 seconds. The average is much higher because we're including the time it takes to do your inventory management, dropping things off, identifying things, etc., making sure we have enough identify scrolls, and there we are showing the inventory. Ended up with 59 unique rings. Here is the loot filter that I used. It's very specific to Nightmare Andariel and Stone of Jordan, showing only the uniques that I think are good from this. I'm going to go ahead and export this. I'll post this, and you can use it if you want to. Let's look at the best example of the items that I got. So you saw me sneak in a Trang's gloves over here. Andariel can drop these gloves. They are very good for their faster cast rate. I went 1,827 runs. I did not get a single copy, so it's very rare. Anyway, for chance guards, I got 39% chances. Not terrible. The best belt that I found for Talrasha was only 11%. You're looking for a 15. Otherwise, it's probably Charcy food. But very useful, very good. The best string of ears that I found turned out to be a perfect 15% physical damage, but only 11 on magic damage reduced. Still pretty good. Let's see, for the Razor Tail, did end up finding a perfect 150% enhanced defense. Razor Tail, that's all right. That's not super important. Not a lot rolls on these Mage Fist gloves. Again, enhanced defense, 30% is the max. You typically don't upgrade these to keep the strength requirements low. Gold wrap, all of them are good, always 30%. Best one I found here, 68% extra gold. Chance scars, 39%. Looking for 40. And this is the best Viper Magi that I found. Not too terrible. 33-13. 13 is the max roll on max magic damage reduced. 35 is the max for all resistances. So not terrible. We did find some water walks with 65 to life. So that's nice. Is 180 the max enhanced defense on those? I don't know. Take a peek here at the shaft stop we got. Again, really looking for Ethereal to have much use out of this. And here we are for the main event. So I've cleared out some inventory space. We're going to identify all these unique rings. Let's see if we can get lucky. Okay, so what would be lucky? Doing a little bit of math, found out with 59 unique rings from Nightmare Andariel, you have about an 86% chance to get at least one Stone of Jordan. There's a 30% chance you could get 2 or more, a 30% chance you get exactly 1, and then of course there is that dreaded 14.5% that you get none. I'm going to keep perfect Nagelrings because they're useful. I'm going to keep a perfect Manald Heal ring if we can get one. And of course, I'm going to keep every Stone of Jordan. So here we go. We're a couple rings in. As we predicted, we're getting Manald Heal rings and Nagelrings. Okay, so 5 rings in. 4 rings. No luck yet. These are pretty rare. I mean, we're really just hoping that we don't completely whiff and get no Stone of Jordans. Oh, there's a perfect Nagelring. We will keep all those that we get. Oh, 15%. No, that's terrible. I believe 7% lifesteal and... okay, there we go. Ring number 13, the first Stone of Jordan. We're not going to get super unlucky. We're not going to hit that 14.5%. We got one already, and that's fantastic. We're happy at this point. Anything else beyond this, really just gravy. So we'll keep going. With 43, 42, 40-ish rings left, still have a pretty good chance of finding another Stone of Jordans. I believe it's about 75%, and just a few rings later, we get another one. So now we're well beyond lucky. We've spent 10 hours farming. We got 2 Stone of Jordans. What can you expect on average? For example, you may not be the self-styled luckiest Diablo 2 player like I am. You may not get this many Stone of Jordans. But here's how it works out if you can farm Nightmare Andariel at the pace that I did over this 10 hours. So I got a unique ring once every 31 kills. That's based on how much magic you find you have. And of course the player count, which we kept at 7 the entire time. And hold the phone, we got Stone of Jordan number 3. Holy cow. Yeah, these results are not typical. I have to say that a lot in my videos. Call it what you will. Streamer luck, content creator luck. I don't stream. I'm just a content creator. Anyway, 3 Stone of Jordans after just a handful of rings. But what can you expect? What can you expect? If you can do it this fast, if you can get that kind of magic find, etc., it's going to take you about 5 hours. To get. Statistically, the expected time would be about 5 hours. It's going to take you about 5 hours to find 31 rings. You expect to get 1 Stone of Jordan in every 31 unique rings that you find from Nightmare Andariel. So yeah, that's about what you can expect. So out of these 1,827 runs, you expect to get 2. 2 would be pretty normal. 3, you're starting to get into the lucky side. In fact, I ended up not getting any more Stone of Jordans. I was not disappointed in this fact. 3 is plenty for the amount of time we spent, so I'm not going to Not going to spend much more time. I did find one perfect Manald Heal ring and the one Nagelring that you can see right there. And we're just going to end the video right there. Thank you so much for watching. This is the War Club. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We are going to the pit. Next, we're going to do the Pit Zerker Barbarian. We're going to show you how that works, how you can get a ton of awesome drops, work on your Chronicle, and we'll see you next time.